Miraculous prophecy revealed. Your sacred partner will manifest in 12 days, not who you expect. Emily sat in the vibrant church, the air thick with expectation. Pastor David stood before the congregation, his voice thunderous yet soothing, and declared, God has a message for us. The shimmering stained glass above cast colorful beams that danced across the room, illuminating hearts like the warm touch of divine love. In 12 days, he proclaimed, a sacred partner will appear in your lives, someone crafted by God's own hands. But beware, for it may not be who you expect. The buzz among the parishioners grew electric, whispers of joy and hope swirling like heaven's own breath. In that moment, Emily's heart raced, her mind instantly filled with thoughts of Jake, that charming yet ever-distracted man whose laughter always lingered like a sweet echo. Surely he was the one ordained for her. But a flicker of confusion sparked within her as she grasped the weight of the pastor's warning. Could it really be someone else? As excitement surged around her, doubt began to nestle into her heart, weaving shadows over her faith. A week passed, and with each day, Emily watched as friends found unexpected love. Clara, who had been single for years, now held hands with Alex, a gentle soul whose kindness was a testament to Goddess grace. Even Lucy, the shy one, danced into a new relationship with Mark, a passionate musician. Their happiness felt palpable, radiating warmth, while Emily sat with her heart growing heavier. Her family's well-meaning nudges about settling down pressed down on her like a weight. Love felt like it was slipping from her fingers. Determined to find clarity, Emily poured herself into prayer, seeking God in earnestness. She sat quietly in the church, surrounded by fragrant flowers and flickering candles, the gentle hum of worship wrapping around her like a comforting blanket. Kneeling at the altar, she whispered her fears into the stillness, that familiar sense of peace cascading over her like a shower of grace. Lord, guide me. Show me your will, she pleaded, anticipation growing like a flickering flame. Then came the evening prayer service, a sanctuary filled with warmth and unity. The congregation was alive with murmurs of hope, and Emily felt the sacred atmosphere thickening around her. Suddenly, a sense of expectation filled the air. As prayers rose, she closed her eyes tight, feeling the Holy Spirit stirring deep within her. And then, in a whisper to her heart, she felt it, an inkling of revelation. A figure she had overlooked, someone who had always held her up, quietly supporting her through trials. Reach out, her heart urged. The thought enveloped her. Could it be Brian, her steadfast friend who had always been there? In that moment, connection blinked into focus like the sun breaking through dark clouds. What if she had missed the beauty of a sacred union right in front of her? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system, and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue as Emily grappled with her newfound understanding. Each day leading to the deadline loomed larger than the last. Uncertainty intertwined with hope, the tension of divine purpose pressed against her heart. Would she have the courage to embrace this unexpected path of love? The countdown continued, and as the 12th day approached, the answer hung in the ether, tantalizingly close. Would she see the sacred partner in time? And how would this revelation change her forever? As the 12th day drew near, Emily felt a whirlwind of emotions. Each sunrise marked another step closer to the moment that both thrilled and terrified her. It was as if heaven was holding its breath, waiting with her in this sacred silence. She found herself wandering through memories, times with Brian spent laughing, comforting her during sorrow, and cheering her on through life's trials. Could the heart of a beloved friendship weave into something deeper? Determined to not shy away from this possibility, Emily decided to seek Brian out. The evening sun cast a golden glow through her window as she picked up her phone, her fingers hovering over his number. This wasn't just a call. It was a bridge to uncharted territory, a risk wrapped in faith. "Hello, Emily?" Brian's voice broke through, warm and familiar, filling her heart with a sense of belonging. "How have you been?" "Hey, Brian. I've been good, but, well..." She hesitated, her heart quickening as she sensed this was her moment. "Can we meet at the park? I have something on my mind." "Of course. I'll be there in a bit." As she paced in her room, thoughts tumbled over one another. Would he feel the same? Was she even ready to delve into emotions she had carefully tucked away? She glimpsed at herself in the mirror, taking a deep breath, praying for Goddess grace to guide her words. At the park, the evening sky transitioned into a canvas of oranges and purples. Emily spotted Brian, leaning against a tree, his expression lighting up at her arrival. "You're glowing," he teased, but there was something genuine in his smile, something that made her heart flutter. "Thanks. I have been thinking a lot lately," she began, the words hesitant yet hopeful. They found a secluded bench, the rustling leaves whispering encouragement, about what love really means and how it can sometimes surprise us. Brian looked at her with curiosity. "You mean about the prophecy from Pastor David?" Her heart skipped. "Yes. I can't shake this feeling that we're more connected than we realize. You've always been here for me. Through the ups and downs. I guess I wonder if there's more to our story." Brian's brow furrowed and a moment of silence swallowed the air like a soft blanket. "I've thought about it too, Emily. There's something extraordinary about what we share. I've always cherished our bond." The tension lifting felt like the gentle push of a divine hand. Emily's heart filled with hope, a flicker turning into a flame. "So what do you think? Are we ready to explore this together?" His eyes brightened, and he took her hands in his. "Yes. If this is a divine revelation, let us follow it. God has bigger plans than we can see." Just as Emily felt she was catching the rhythm of destiny, a flash of uncertainty crept in. Would they truly dive into this transformation? And what lay ahead in the days that followed, in the wake of their new connection? Completing the evening with sweet conversation, laughter, and shared dreams, they stepped together into the twilight, two hearts leaning into what they had been called to discover anew. But as they parted, Emily felt a tug in her spirit. Was God leading them toward a beautiful revelation or a test of faith to deepen their connection? What divine twists awaited them as the final hours approached? And what if it wasn't just the start of something new but also an invitation into deeper challenges? As dawn broke on the 13th day, Emily awoke with a sense of weight pressing on her heart. The revelations of the night before echoed in her mind, intertwining with the rising sun's golden hues. She felt the warmth of hope but also a twinge of apprehension. What if their decision to explore deeper feelings was more than just a leap of faith? The thought overwhelmed her. It was as if the stillness of the morning was inviting her to reflect on the path ahead. She recognized the urgency in her spirit, a sacred nudge from God urging her to lean into the unknown. With a determined spirit, Emily knelt in prayer, bringing her uncertainties before the Lord. "God, guide us as we embark on this journey," she whispered, feeling an undercurrent of divine assurance wash over her. "Help us to see clearly, for your plans are always good." Once she finished, her mind was clearer. It was then that she felt the longing to seek out Brian, not only to talk about their feelings but also to share this encounter with God, the prophecies they had both heard in church, the divine murmurs that hovered just beyond their comprehension. They needed to strengthen their prayer life together. Shifting through the day, her thoughts spiraled around the voice of her heart and the excitement wrapped within it. What could emerge from this new chapter? It seemed as if God was reordering her heart, preparing her for something greater. When the clock struck 6, Emily texted Brian. "Can we pray together this evening? I think it's important for us." Minutes felt like hours until Brian responded. "Absolutely. I'd love that. How about we meet at the spot by the old oak tree?" That evening, the sun dipped low, casting long shadows across the grass as Emily approached the designated meeting place. The oak tree stood majestic and wise, its leaves whispering stories of generations past. She spotted Brian, seated with his eyes closed in quiet meditation. There was something so soothing in his presence as she sat beside him. A feeling of peace enveloped them like a warm embrace. I'm so glad we're doing this, Brian said, opening his eyes. Sometimes all we need is to remember who guides our steps. Emily nodded, her heart racing. Together, they held hands and bowed their heads. With each word of prayer, she felt the weight lift, replaced by a profound connection to the divine. She envisioned their bond being woven tighter, the threads of faith knitting their hearts together as they finished. There was an extraordinary silence, a gentle stillness that wrapped around them. In that moment, Emily heard it, the sweet whisper of Goddess spirit nudging her heart. You have taken the first step. More will be revealed. What do you think we're meant to discover? Brian's voice broke the silence, and Emily sensed he felt an echo of what she had experienced. Perhaps we're called to uncover what love truly means, Emily replied, her eyes searching his. A love rooted in faith. It's more than just us. It's about Goddess' purpose for our lives. Just then, a bird flew overhead, singing a melodious tune that seemed to lift their spirits even higher. It was as though nature itself recognized the sacred moment, rejoicing in their newfound dedication. Yet, even as joy filled the air, a stirring in Emily's soul warned her that this spiritual journey might not be without struggles. What challenges lay ahead? Would they stand firm when trials tested their resolve? With these thoughts swirling, the fleeting moment of serenity was tethered by a question threading through her mind. What if their next steps led into uncharted waters, where faith would carry them through the unknown? Could they trust God to illuminate the path ahead, even when it seemed foggy? The evening lingered, filled with promise and the presence of God, as they unfolded their hearts to one another. But as twilight deepened, Emily sensed it was merely the beginning of a remarkable transformation. What divine messages awaited just beyond their perception? And would they be ready to embrace the true purpose of their connection together? The moon hung low and full, casting a silver glow upon the world beneath. Emily and Brian sat side by side, sharing the warm silence, the air thick with anticipation for what tomorrow might bring. Her heart raced with the possibilities, yet the calm within her told her to wait and see. She glanced at Brian, whose gaze was fixed on the stars, eyes wide with wonder. Look at those stars, he murmured, almost to himself. It's like they're beckoning us to dream bigger. Emily smiled softly. They remind me that Goddess' plans for us are vast, more than we can fathom. With each passing moment, Emily felt a fire building within her, an urgency to delve deeper into the spiritual journey that lay ahead. Brian, do you feel it? This is just the beginning. We're wandering into something beautiful. I can feel it, she said, her voice laced with a newfound conviction. I do, he replied, his tone serious yet filled with hope. Sometimes it's hard to see the full picture. I imagine we're just on the edges of what God has in store for us. But it's exciting too. Senti it? Absolutely. With every step, we're being guided, she said, her heart swelling with gratitude. But what happens when the road gets bumpy? Brian's eyes softened. That's where faith comes in. Remember what we prayed about, trusting that God is right there with us. As those words flowed, a cool breeze danced around them, almost like a gentle reminder from above. Emily closed her eyes, breathing in the soothing night air, feeling connected to something greater than herself. It was as if the struggles she feared were already being placed in Goddess' hands. So, if our journey leads us to challenges, what can we do? She asked, her thoughts swirling with possible scenarios. Stay grounded in prayer. Seek His wisdom, Brian answered confidently. We need to lean on one another, too. Together with God, we can face anything. Emily soaked in his words, marveling at how God intertwined their hearts, making them strong in unity. Trust in the future, she whispered, and each other. As they lingered in that sacred space, her mind drifted to the signs they sought. The prophecies, once mere whispers in their hearts, now felt more tangible. They needed to search for those divine messages, feeling their significance grow ever more profound. Her thoughts turned to the verse from Jeremiah. For I know the plans I have for you. There is something significant about our next move, Emily said suddenly, grasping Brian's hand tighter. The next days may reveal more than we expect. Do you think a miracle could unfold before us? Brian's voice trembled with a mix of excitement and seriousness. "I do believe that God can surprise us," she replied, her spirit igniting with possibility. "What if we're already walking on the path to discovering His miraculous plan?" As Brian nodded, an unshakable conviction settled between them. It was clear God was stirring something profound in their lives. In that moment, Emily caught sight of a shooting star, streaking across the sky, seemingly responding to their heartfelt conversation. She gasped, her breath hitching. "Did you see that? Wow, what a sign!" Brian exclaimed, excitement radiating from him like warmth from the sun. "We must hold on to that. It feels like a divine approval." Emily felt her heart flutter, both in anticipation and recognition of the sacred road they were on. What new revelations awaited them? What would be unveiled in the coming days? With minds racing and hearts ablaze, they knew their journey was only beginning. As they prepared to leave the oak tree, the night wrapped around them like a soft blanket, holding promises yet to be fulfilled. Would they be brave enough to unearth the hidden treasures God had in store? And would their faith stand strong against the trials that might come? As they walked away hand in hand, a lingering excitement filled the air, leaving them to wonder what divine surprises awaited them in the next 12 days. The dawn broke softly, hues of pink and gold stretching across the horizon. Emily and Brian woke early, buoyed by the whisper of dreams still lingering in their hearts. The world felt fresh, drenched in promise. They shared a knowing glance, each feeling the echo of the night's revelations. "Today is the day we start our search," Emily declared, her voice steady. "Let us pay attention, really listen to what God is saying. It's like a treasure hunt," Brian exclaimed, his excitement infectious. "Only the treasures might be harder to spot than we think." They set out, the morning air crisp and invigorating. As they walked through their neighborhood, colorful flowers lined the paths. Birds sang melodious tunes. But Emily felt a deeper calling, one that tugged at her soul. With every step, she sensed the presence of God guiding them, whispering encouragement into the quiet spaces of their hearts. "Look at that crow," Brian pointed, chuckling. "It reminds me of the verse about God using the unlikely." Emily laughed, glancing at the bird perched on a nearby fence. "Yes, not just unlikely, but also a reminder that nothing is ordinary in His hands. Even crows can carry messages." As they wandered, they stopped at a local park, the sunlight filtering through the tree branches, casting dapples of gold on the ground. They sat at a bench, the gentle breeze stirring around them like a comforting embrace. "I've been thinking about the miracles we talked about," Emily said, her eyes searching the sky. "They might not always look like what we expect. What if they come in forms we don't recognize?" "True. It's often the ordinary that holds the extraordinary," Brian replied thoughtfully, nodding. "I mean, when we pray for guidance, it might not be a booming voice. It could be a nudge in our spirit or a word from someone we encounter. I want to be sensitive to those nudges," she said earnestly. "I want to see the divine in the mundane." Suddenly, a gentle elderly man approached them, his kind eyes sparkling with wisdom. "You too seem filled with joy," he remarked, his voice soft like the caress of the wind. "We're on a quest," Brian replied, sharing their journey of faith. The man listened intently, nodding occasionally, as if he understood the sacred pursuit. "Ah, seeking the wonder of God's provision," he said, a hint of a smile playing on his lips. "Remember, the unexpected often carries the greatest blessings. Sometimes you'll need to look beyond the surface to find what your heart truly desires." Brian and Emily exchanged glances, a spark igniting between them as they absorbed his words. "Thank you," Emily said, her heart warm with hope. "We will hold on to that." As the man turned to leave, Brian felt a sudden urge to ask, "Do you have a moment to pray with us?" With a thoughtful smile, the man nodded. They bowed their heads together, enveloped in an ethereal peace. Emily felt a rush of gratitude wash over her, as if they were being showered with blessings in the simplicity of that prayer. Afterwards, the elderly man clasped their hands tightly. "The next 12 days can unveil more than you can imagine. Stay attentive and expect the unexpected." With that, he walked away, blending into the crowd, leaving Emily and Brian bewildered yet electrified by his words. "That was powerful," Brian murmured, gripping Emily's hand tighter. "What if his prayer opened a door we couldn't see before?" "I believe it did," Emily replied, a sense of awe filling her. "We're not just seeking miracles. We're becoming part of them." With renewed vigor, they walked on, now keenly aware of the divine whispers around them. What could this day hold? What treasures awaited in the hours still unfolding, waiting for their hearts to discover? As they approached the corner of the street they frequently walked, a quiet sense of wonder washed over them. They knew this was just the beginning, and another divine moment was waiting to unfold. What would they encounter next? And how might it shift their journey forever? As Emily and Brian continued their walk, the world transformed around them. Shadows danced in the sunlight, and vibrant colors seemed to pulse with life. Each step felt charged with purpose. The air was thick with anticipation, as if their surroundings held secrets just waiting to be uncovered. "I wonder what we should look for first," Brian pondered aloud, his eyes scanning the park ahead. "Should we focus on people, or maybe signs?" "Let us remain open to both," Emily suggested, her heart swelling with excitement. "Perhaps we'll find a message from God through something or someone we least expect. That's what today is about, being attuned to his whispers." As they strolled deeper into the park, laughter and chatter danced around them. Families picnicked, children ran freely, and a couple nearby engaged in lighthearted banter. They took a moment to observe, soaking in the simple beauty of life unfolding. Suddenly, a gentle voice cut through the noise, calling out to them. "Excuse me." An older woman, with silver hair and an air of grace, walked toward them. Her sun-dappled dress swayed with each step, radiating warmth. "Yes?" Emily replied, curious and slightly taken aback. "I couldn't help but notice your joy," the woman said, her eyes sparkling. "It's truly inspiring. When you both sat there praying just now, I could feel the love you hold for each other and for God." Emily beamed, inspired by the woman's kindness. "Thank you. We're on a journey to discover how God works in our lives." The woman smiled knowingly. "A beautiful quest indeed. May I share something with you?" "Of course," Brian said, a sense of reverence settling over them. "About 12 years ago, I went through a season of seeking," she explained, her voice steady yet warm. "I prayed for clarity, longing for guidance in a muddled world. I feared I wouldn't recognize the path he had laid out for me." She paused, allowing the weight of her words to settle. Emily and Brian leaned in, captivated. Then one day, quite unexpectedly, an encounter with a stranger changed everything. That moment was pivotal, a divine setup that revealed God's provision in a way I never could have imagined. She looked to them, her gaze piercing yet gentle. "Sometimes, blessings find us when our hearts are aligned to receive." Brian felt a stirring in his spirit. "What happened? How did it change things?" "I met someone who felt completely out of my realm of expectations," the woman continued, her smile widening. "But it turned out, God brought us together for a purpose. If I hadn't been sensitive to his nudges, I would have missed the treasure." Emily felt a spark igniting in her heart. It was as if the woman's words were echoing the message they'd just heard from the elderly man moments before. What if God is preparing us for something we can't yet fathom? She mused aloud, glancing at Brian. "Exactly," the woman said, nodding enthusiastically. "Open your hearts to the possibility. You might find that when you seek him, his plans are often bigger and more beautiful than you could ever predict." With a sense of urgency, Emily asked, "Is there any other advice you could offer?" The woman leaned in a little closer, her voice dropping to a whisper. "Stay expectant. Whatever you encounter in these next 12 days, remember that God's plan may defy your expectations. Embrace it all with an open heart." As she stepped back, the glowing serenity of her presence lingered, leaving them both in contemplation. "Wow," Brian murmured after a moment. "What if her experience mirrors ours? What if our unexpected treasures are just around the corner?" Chuckling softly, Emily added, "And what if we don't even see them coming? God loves to surprise us, doesn't he?" With renewed energy, they continued their path through the park, surrounded by life and joy. They were ready to face whatever divine surprises awaited them. Little did they know, The adventures ahead would invite them to leap into faith in ways they could hardly begin to imagine what awaited them in this journey. And would their hearts remain open enough to grasp the miracles promised? As they walked cautiously, conversations floated around them, weaving a tapestry of laughter and warmth that wrapped around their spirits. Birds trilled overhead, splashes of color darting about while the sun dipped lazily, casting a golden hue across everything in sight. Emily felt a gentle tug at her heart, a whisper begging to be heard, urging her to focus on the moment instead of their grand quest. "Let us just take a minute to breathe," she suggested, slowing her pace. "Let us allow our hearts to listen in, to truly feel what's around us." Brian nodded, his mind buzzing with possibilities. They settled on a bench under a large oak tree, its branches stretching wide like welcoming arms. As they sat, Emily closed her eyes, inhaling deeply, trying to sense something beyond her immediate surroundings. "You can feel the love in the air, can't you?" Brian said quietly. "It's as if everything is connected, just waiting for us to acknowledge it." "Yes," Emily replied, her heart swelling. "It feels like God is weaving our stories together in some indescribable way. We just need to stay attentive." As the moments passed, Emily's thoughts drifted to the kind woman they had just spoken to. The way she had shared her journey rang true in their hearts. How often do people brush past those divine nudges because they're caught up in the chaos of life? "Every moment is a chance to connect," Emily whispered, her voice barely audible. Their meditation was broken when they suddenly noticed a child running past them, laughing with pure delight. The child's laughter was infectious, ringing like a sweet chime through the park. Emily and Brian exchanged glances, and in that instant, they felt something shift inside them, a hint of clarity amidst the uncertainty. What if that joy is what we're meant to hold on to? Emily mused, her eyes sparkling. Perhaps it's about embracing the simple moments, even the unexpected ones. Neither of them realized how much time had slipped by until the sun began its descent, painting the horizon with streaks of orange and purple. As if on cue, the laughter faded into softer sounds, a gentle breeze rustling through leaves, the distant chatter of families packing up for the day. While turning to leave, Emily caught sight of a flyer fluttering on the ground nearby. She picked it up, glancing at the bold letters that read, "Community talent, show your time to shine." Brian's eyes lit up. What if we brought our own talents to the stage? What if this is part of the treasure we're meant to find? In sync, Emily's heart raced at the thought. Could God be directing us towards something so creative? What we might discover about ourselves? Could it be a way to share our journey and connect with others? Brian said, excitement bubbling at the thought. Feeling emboldened, they fixed their sights on the nearby community center where the event would take place. Was this a divine opportunity to truly share the joy they felt? Could it be the way God would work through them, just as the kind woman had foretold? "Let us dive into this. We have to put ourselves out there," Emily declared, conviction weaving through her words as they approached the center. A soothing calm enveloped them, even as anticipation rippled through the air. Their hearts beat wildly, more in excitement than fear. It felt like stepping outside their comfort zones was the very essence of receiving the paths laid before them. Just as they reached the door, they heard a voice calling out from behind, a voice familiar yet unexpected. Turning around, they found the silver-haired woman standing there, her eyes shimmering with wisdom. "Trust in what you see and feel. You've already begun to uncover his mysteries." Suddenly, Emily's heart raced in a new direction. Could this chance encounter lead them to another deeper truth? What could God reveal through their willingness to share their talents? "Would you with me embrace the adventure yet to unfold?" the woman questioned, her gaze penetrating yet gentle, a twinkle of divine mischief dancing within her eyes. Emily exchanged an eager glance with Brian. How delightful it was to feel the pull of destiny as they embarked on what could only be described as a miraculous journey ahead. What awaited them just beyond that door? Would they have the courage to unleash their hidden gifts and discover more than they imagined? The mysteries of their adventure were just beginning to reveal themselves. As the door swung open, a wave of sound greeted them, a kaleidoscope of voices and laughter swirling around them like a warm embrace. It was as if the very walls of the community center buzzed with energy and purpose. Lights twinkled above, illuminating a stage that beckoned guests to share in the wondrous celebration of talent and creativity. Emily's heart raced, an intoxicating blend of excitement and apprehension coursing through her veins. She could feel the pull of the sacred potential lurking in the air, waiting for its moment to burst into the limelight. "This is it," she whispered, her eyes wide. "Can you feel it? We're part of something bigger than ourselves." Brian nodded vigorously, absorbing the thrill that danced across the space. The silver-haired woman stepped gracefully into the hall, her presence commanding yet serene. "Welcome to the tapestry of life," she called out, her voice stirring the crowd into attentive silence. "Each of you carries a unique story. When we share our gifts, we bring light to those who need it most." Inspired by her words, the atmosphere shifted palpably, hearts opening like flowers in bloom. Emily exchanged a glance with Brian, both sensing the sacred invitation enveloping them. Together, they stepped forward, navigating through the cluster of eager souls. "Let us find a corner and practice," suggested Brian, his curiosity piqued. "What do we want to share?" Emily contemplated, the divine whisper echoing in her mind. "Maybe something about our journey, how faith has shaped who we are. We can weave our experience into song. It could resonate with others." A flicker of doubt crossed Brian's face. "But what if we're not good enough? What if they don't connect?" At that moment, the silver-haired woman reappeared, standing beside them with a knowing smile. "Remember, it's not about perfection. It's about authenticity. God seeks your heart, not your talents alone. Trust in your experience and your willingness to share. That is where true connection lies." Emily felt heat radiating from her chest, and a sense of peace washed over her. "You're right. It's our story that makes us unique." The challenge ahead shifted from a daunting task to an exciting chance to reveal their hearts. They found an empty corner, and as they practiced, they poured their souls into a blend of melody and voice. Brian strummed an old, weathered guitar, his fingers gliding over the strings like a stream of consciousness flowing forth in praise. Emily's voice rose above the notes, carving out a beautiful narrative of hope and healing, as they sang. It felt as if the very air around them shimmered with divine approval. The notes crafted a connection much deeper than they had anticipated, a symbol of love that echoed through the room. In that moment, they caught glimpses of smiling faces drawn in by the sweetness of the melody, some even swaying gently to the rhythm. "God truly is present," Emily exclaimed as inspiration surged through her. "Look at how it affects others. This is our gift to them." Just then, a hush spread like wildfire. They opened their eyes to realize a small crowd had gathered, attentive and bright-eyed, almost as if they were a gallery witnessing an artwork born live. The silver-haired woman stood at the front, her eyes glistening with joy as they finished the song. Applause erupted around them, a sacred acknowledgement of their vulnerability. Hearts swelled with a powerful sense of belonging. The weight of the world felt momentarily lifted. "See," the woman whispered, leaning in closer. "Your courage already invites transformation. This isn't the end. It's merely the beginning. Keep your hearts open to the whispers and nudges ahead." Something beautiful is afoot. Emily's shoulders tingled with anticipation. What more lay ahead? As the night continued, they felt a stirring deep within, a quiet urging to remain sensitive to new revelations and divine pathways. Would their performance herald a new chapter in their lives, or spark connections they hadn't yet imagined? With hearts on fire and a sense of wonder coursing through them, they knew they would have to keep listening. The adventure was unfolding, but what awaited them just around the corner? What divine partnership might manifest in unexpected ways? The excitement in the room was palpable, like the vibrancy of a painting brought to life. Emily and Brian stood at the edge of their newfound experience, the echoes of applause still ringing in their ears. The silver-haired woman, now a guiding figure in their journey, seemed to embody a spirit that transcended the ordinary. She had lit a flame in their hearts, and they couldn't shake the sense that something profound was unfolding. "Let us take a moment," Brian suggested, his voice steady yet filled with awe, "to just breathe and reflect on what just happened. What are we really feeling right now?" Emily nodded, closing her eyes and letting the sounds of the crowd wash over her. The laughter, the music, the warmth, it was all part of a greater symphony. "It's as if each person here is like a note in this beautiful song," she mused. "Together, we create something so much bigger and more meaningful." A small crowd continued to mingle, sharing stories and laughter, weaving together connections as threads in a grand tapestry. Each conversation felt charged with purpose. As she opened her eyes again, Emily scanned the room, catching snippets of conversations that floated around her. Some were filled with joy, while others carried the weight of struggle. "Look at that," Brian said, pointing towards a couple huddled in the corner, deep in earnest conversation. "Each person has their own path, their own story, and yet we're all here, in this moment, together." Emily felt a soft but insistent nudge in her spirit, a prompting to engage. "We should go talk to them," she urged, feeling the anticipation bubbling again. "They might need our encouragement today." As they approached, Brian's hand tightened around the guitar. Emily noticed the couple. They looked captivated, yet troubled, as if their hearts were heavy with unshared burdens. "Hi, we just finished playing and noticed you both seemed deep in thought," Emily said, her voice warm and inviting. "Is everything okay?" The woman looked up, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears, while her partner placed a reassuring hand on her shoulder. "It's been a rough few weeks," she admitted softly. "We've been struggling with some decisions. Sometimes it all just feels too much." Brian stepped in closer, his heart aching for them. "You're not alone in this. We all experience those heavy moments. But there's hope even in those darkest times. We found strength in sharing our own struggles through music, and we'd love to lend an ear if you'd like." The couple exchanged glances, their expressions shifting from sorrowful to curious. Slowly, the woman nodded. "That would mean so much," she whispered. With that simple exchange, a connection sparked like lightning through dry grass. Emily could feel the spirit moving among them, lifting hearts with a promise of light. They gathered in a small circle, and as the chords of Brian's guitar filled the air once more, Emily led them in a song filled with encouragement. It was a melody of healing, carried by words that resonated with the struggles they all faced. By the time they finished, joy had replaced heaviness in those few moments. Laughter mingled with gratitude, and more people began drifting toward them, drawn by the light that now enveloped their circle. The presence of something sacred bubbled up, urging others to join in and share their own stories. Emily realized that moments like these were the true essence of community, the transformed hearts gathering to weave a new narrative together. As she looked around, she saw the silver-haired woman smiling from a distance, as if confirming a secret held between them all. Could this be what she had meant by transformation? Just then, a voice broke through the crowd, gentle yet firm. "How wonderful it is that you've chosen to share your gifts. But remember, each gift leads you on a path, and soon, you may discover your sacred partner. In 12 days, prepare your hearts, for a divine appointment awaits." The words hung in the air, sending shivers down Emily's spine. Who could this sacred partner be? What did it all mean? As the night continued, Emily felt the threads of destiny weave tighter around her and Brian. The next few days would reveal more than they anticipated. What lessons awaited them, and how would their journey unfold in light of this prophecy? The dawn broke with a gentle grace, light spilling over the world like divine cleansing. Emily awoke with a sense of clarity, the words of the silver-haired woman echoing in her mind. They were on the precipice of a sacred adventure, with the promise of revelation shimmering ahead. What are we meant to find today? She wondered aloud, glancing at Brian, who was already awake, eyes shining bright with possibility. "Let us remain open," Brian replied, his voice firm yet inviting. "God is moving. We need to trust that each step brings us closer to understanding." With renewed determination, they ventured into the day, their hearts alight with anticipation. Each moment felt charged, as though the air around them vibrated with purpose. They made their way back to the park, where laughter and life bustled around them. Every child's laughter, every rustle of leaves seemed like music, divine orchestrations inviting them deeper into their journey. "Look," Emily pointed as they passed an art installation nearby, its colors vibrant and alive. "Each piece tells a story, just like ours." They walked closer, captivated by the stories displayed in paint and sculpture, each being a testimony to the artist's journey. As they wandered, Emily sensed a tug within her, something drawing her towards a couple seated on a nearby bench. The young woman cradled her head in her hands, while her companion sat quietly, concern etched across his face. "That looks heavy," Emily remarked, pausing. Should we reach out? Absolutely, Brian affirmed. He held Emily's hand tight as they approached, where the atmosphere shifted, heavy yet expectant. Excuse me? Brian began gently. We couldn't help but notice you seem like you might need some support. Can we pray with you? The pair looked up, surprised, but the warmth in their eyes began to thaw the heaviness that cloaked them. We've been struggling to make a difficult choice, the young man explained, voice trembling with vulnerability. It feels overwhelming. God carries our burdens, Emily said, her heart racing with compassion. Let us ask him for clarity together. As they joined hands tightly, Emily closed her eyes, feeling the Spirit flow among them. Lord, here we are. We ask for your guidance for this couple. Please show them the path that leads to peace, she prayed, a wave of warmth wrapping around them like a soft blanket. When the prayer finished, tears glistened in the woman's eyes, yet a smile crept upon her face. Thank you. This really helped, she whispered, her voice shaking with healing. Remember, Brian added, his voice calm and steady, you're not alone. We all wrestle with decisions. Trust in God, and He'll illuminate your path. With gratitude filling the air, they parted ways, hearts uplifted, their spirits interwoven in a shared moment of divine reassurance. As they walked away, Emily reflected on the connection they had fostered. Just a simple prayer changed their day, she said, warmth flooding her chest. What if it truly transforms their lives? That's the beauty of divine moments, Brian replied, his gaze dreamy and far off. What we share becomes a seed of hope in others, a taste of God's love in action. Moments flowed like water, each offering insights laden with grace. They sat under the old oak tree again, its branches sheltering them within a living testament of resilience. As warmth enveloped them, Brian pulled the guitar into his lap. Shall we write another song reflecting what we've just experienced? Yes. Emily twinkled her eyes. Let us weave our story into music, to honor all the connections we've made. As they strummed and sang, the surrounding world melted away. They poured their hearts into vibrant melodies, lyrics deep with gratitude and yearning, sharing their intertwined journeys. With each note, the sunlight danced through the leaves, creating a sacred ambience, as if nature itself praised their offering. By the day's end, Emily felt the stirring of something grand. They had not only explored their own paths, they had embraced others' journeys intertwined with theirs. The thought burst forth like the first bloom of spring, magnificent and filled with promise. As night descended and stars adorned the sky, the silver-haired woman reappeared, haloed in moonlight. There is power in your blessings, she declared, eyes sparkling with wisdom. Your path is illuminated. The sacred partner that was promised, he is drawing near. Emily and Brian exchanged glances, a sweet thrill coursing through them. It was as if a deeper divine revelation was at hand. What should we do next? Emily asked, excitement buzzing in the air. Stay faithful and attentive, the woman replied. In your actions, deeper connections await. Trust in the unfolding mystery, and embrace the journey with hearts wide open. As she gracefully faded into the twilight, Emily and Brian stood, hand in hand, soulmates weaving through life's tapestry. They embraced their stories, joys, and struggles, knowing they were part of something far greater than themselves. In the coming days, Emily remembered to lean into the unexpected twists of fate. The sacred partner, whoever it might be, was a thread in their larger narrative. Each day brought forth hints of who God was preparing for the moments filled with enlightenment, laughter, and love, a rich tapestry unveiled beneath their feet. What if each encounter was part of divine orchestration? What waiting blessings lay on the horizon? As they readied themselves for the challenges ahead, they knew that their hearts would remain open. Love would manifest in unexpected ways, illuminating their path. With joy superseding fear, they leaned in for whatever God had in store. Emily whispered, together, we will face whatever lies ahead. Brian's voice met hers. With loyalty and faith, we will unveil miracles. And as they walked toward the dawn of a new day, they saw not just shadows of uncertainty but beacons of light inviting them forward, each step bursting with purpose. The next 12 days were merely the beginning of a lifetime of faith, expectancy, and transforming love. Filled with divine anticipation and eager hearts, They stepped boldly into the new dawn. Don't wait even one more second. You need to subscribe now to the channel to not miss the next exclusive faith stories. Leave a like right now. Every click feeds the algorithm and helps make these miraculous testimonies shine even brighter. Comment below your reactions and experiences about the ending, and share this moment with at least 5 friends who need to witness this manifestation. This is the moment to show your support, fellow believers. Let us spread hope together.